Sears, more for your life.
You'll be the first place.
You'd call Sears.
I'll call today.
You call now.
I'll call now.
Once upon a time, in the heart of American suburbia, there was a magical place called Sears. It was more than just a store. It was a paradise for bargain hunters, a haven for families, and a cornerstone of the community. This is the story of Sears' Golden Age. The rise of Sears. Imagine it's the late 1800s and you live in a small town far from the bustling cities and their endless shopping opportunities. The local general store is your only option with limited goods and prices that always seem too high. Now, imagine finding a catalog in your mail offering products you've only dreamed of at prices that feel like a bargain. That catalog was from Sears, and it was about to revolutionize how Americans shopped. What made this catalog so revolutionary? How did it come to symbolize opportunity and progress for millions of Americans? The answer lies in the vision of one man and a business model that reshaped retail forever. The story begins in 1886 with Richard Warren Sears, a young railroad station agent in North Redwood, Minnesota. One ordinary day, a shipment of unwanted watches arrived at his station by mistake. Seeing an opportunity, Sears bought the watches at a discount and sold them to other station agents, making a tidy profit. What started as a small venture quickly sparked an idea that would change retail forever. Sears soon expanded his business and relocated to Chicago in 1887, a city brimming with commerce and perfectly positioned as a transportation hub. It was there that he placed a classified ad for a watch repairman, bringing in Alva C. Roebuck into the picture. Roebuck, a talented and self-taught watchmaker from Indiana, complemented Sears' marketing genius, and together they founded Sears, Roebuck and Company in 1893. But the first true game changer wasn't just their watches, it was the Sears catalog. First introduced in 1888, the catalog started small, featuring watches and jewelry, but it had an outsized impact. With fixed prices clearly printed, Sears broke away from the haggling culture of local stores, offering transparency and fairness. For people living far away from major shopping centers, written in Sears' dynamic and persuasive tone. It offered much more than goods. It provided a connection to a rapidly modernizing world. Over time, the catalog grew, featuring an ever-expanding array of products, clothing, furniture, tools, and even prefabricated houses. With every page, Sears transformed the shopping experience, making it accessible to people everywhere. By the early 1900s, the Sears catalog had become a national phenomenon. It wasn't just a way to buy things, it was a glimpse into a world of possibilities, a promise that anyone, anywhere, could have access to the comforts and innovations of the modern age. Over the years, the Sears catalog expanded far beyond its humble beginnings. By 1894, it had grown to 322 pages, offering everything from sewing machines and bicycles to firearms and even early automobiles. It wasn't just a shopping tool, it became a cultural phenomenon. Families would gather around it, dreaming of the latest fashions, shiny kitchenware, and modern home furnishings that promised to transform their lives. By the early 20th century, it earned the affectionate nickname, the Big Book, for its immense size and comprehensive offerings. Its pages brimmed with an astonishing array of products, clothing, farm equipment, musical instruments, home appliances, and even, as we mentioned, entire prefabricated house kits. These house kits, delivered by rail, included every component needed to build a home, right down to the nails and blueprints. Many of these Sears homes still stand today, a testament to the company's extraordinary reach and influence. The catalog's power lay in its ability to connect with people in even the most remote corners of America. At a time when general stores were few and far between, the Sears catalog brought the promise of modern living to millions. It was more than a way to shop, it was a lifeline. By the 1920s, the catalog had ballooned to over 1,000 pages and featured more than 100,000 products. For many households, it was a permanent fixture, often kept alongside the family Bible. Sears had transformed consumer culture, making the once unreachable accessible and changing the way Americans shopped forever. But behind the glossy pages and nationwide success, Sears faced a turning point, a moment of crisis that would test its resilience and require bold leadership to secure its place in history.
Hey Santa, I know just how you feel. Our wish list is unreal.
Revival and reinvention. By the early 1900s, Sears faced financial troubles stemming from overexpansion and management issues. But just when the business seemed on the brink of collapse, fate intervened in the form of Julius Rosenwald, a savvy clothing manufacturer with a keen business sense. He became a key investor and joined the company's leadership in 1895, eventually becoming president in 1909. Rosenwald played a critical role in reshaping Sears' future. He invested $21 million of his personal fortune to stabilize the company during one of its darkest periods. His strategic leadership streamlined operations and improved efficiency, paving the way for new growth. Under his guidance, Sears not only survived, but thrived, opening a massive catalog plant and the Sears Merchandise Building Tower in Chicago in 1906, a symbol of the company's resurgence and ambition. That same year, Sears made history by becoming the first major U.S. retailer to go public. Its initial public offering, managed by Goldman Sachs, saw shares trading at $97.50 each, a significant amount at that time. This financial milestone underscored Sears' importance in the American economy and solidified its place as a retail powerhouse. While Rosenwald's business acumen saved Sears, his legacy extended far beyond corporate success. After stepping down as president in 1924, he dedicated his life to philanthropy, funding schools, colleges, and cultural institutions across the country. He contributed millions of dollars to public education, particularly for African American students in the segregated South, leaving a lasting impact on generations of Americans. After opening its first brick-and-mortar store in 1925, Sears quickly rose to become the nation's largest retail chain, redefining the American shopping experience. The first store opened on February 2, 1925, as an experimental venture in the North Lawndale Sears, Roebuck, and Company complex on the outskirts of Chicago. Despite its remote location, far from the city's bustling downtown shopping district, the store was a resounding success. Its popularity led to the rapid expansion of Sears stores across the country. At a time when most major retailers operated exclusively in city centers, Sears took an unconventional approach by opening stores in lower middle class and working class neighborhoods. Many of these stores were located near the company's mail-order offices, creating a seamless shopping experience where customers could browse products in person while still benefiting from the expansive selection offered through the Sears catalog. This hybrid model bridged the gap between traditional retail and mail-order shopping, giving Sears a competitive edge in a changing retail landscape. Three key innovations set Sears retail stores apart from its competitors. First, their location strategy broke with tradition. As we said, rather than concentrating in city centers, Sears chose areas accessible by streetcar and later by car. This decision anticipated the growing trend of suburban living and the increasing importance of automobile travel in American life. By the mid-20th century, Sears stores became central landmarks in suburban communities across the country. Second, Sears embraced innovative store design. Many of its stores were designed by renowned architect George C. Nimmons and his firms, incorporating modern architectural styles that prioritized functionality over decorative flourishes. Inspired by the architectural philosophies of Bertram Goodhue and Eliel Saarinen, these buildings were practical, efficient, and visually striking. They featured spacious layouts that accommodated a wide range of merchandise, setting a new standard for department store design. Third, Sears revolutionized the retail experience through its unconventional product mix and pioneering retail practices. Unlike traditional department stores that specialized in clothing or home goods, Sears stores sold everything from apparel and appliances to tools, automotive supplies, and even entire house kits. This all-encompassing approach turned Sears into a one-stop shopping destination for millions of Americans, cementing its place as a retail giant.
Cheryl Teagues is here with fashion news. Computers from Atari to
Iconic brands and global reach. Sears introduced several iconic in-house brands that became household names. In 1927, the company launched its first major brand, Craftsman, offering high-quality tools that came with a lifetime guarantee. Next came Kenmore, specializing in home appliances like refrigerators, washers, and even vacuum cleaners. Diehard, a brand of automotive batteries known for reliability and durability, followed in 1967. These brands set industry standards and developed lasting customer loyalty, remaining relevant for decades. The holiday season brought one of Sears' most beloved innovations, the Sears Wish Book. First issued in 1933, the Wish Book was a special Christmas catalog featuring toys, gifts, and holiday-themed merchandise. For generations of American children, flipping through its glossy pages became a cherished holiday tradition. Parents relied on the Wish Book to find the season's hottest toys, while kids made wish lists filled with dreams sparked by its magical offerings. Sears' ambitious growth wasn't limited to the United States. In 1942, the company opened a small store in downtown Havana, Cuba, marking its first international venture. The success of this store encouraged further expansion into Latin America. In 1947, Sears opened its first store in Mexico City, launching what would eventually become Sears Mexico, now owned by billionaire Carlos Slim's Grupo Sanborns. By 2020, Sears Mexico operated more than 75 stores throughout the country, maintaining a significant retail presence in the region. Throughout the mid-20th century, Sears continued expanding across Central and South America, entering countries such as Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, and Brazil. In 1953, the company reported $78 million in sales from its international operations. Its international reach even extended across the Atlantic to Spain, demonstrating Sears' ability to adapt its business model to various cultural and economic environments. Sears' influence reached its peak in 1973, when the company completed its most iconic project, the Sears Tower in Chicago. Standing at 1,450 feet with 110 stories, it became the tallest building in the world at the time. The tower symbolized Sears' dominance in the retail industry and its status as a corporate powerhouse. For decades, the Sears Tower remained a defining feature of the Chicago skyline and an enduring symbol of American ambition. Sears' growth was driven not only by its product diversity, but also by its ability to anticipate and adapt to societal changes. As suburban living expanded in the post-World War II era, Sears was ready with stores strategically placed near emerging residential communities. Its ability to evolve with the times helped it maintain its position as America's largest retailer for much of the 20th century.
You are the first place.
The fall of Sears. At its peak, Sears operated over 3,500 stores, dominating the American retail landscape. It was a household name, synonymous with shopping convenience and trusted brands. However, as the 20th century drew to a close, the mighty retail giant began to fade, losing ground to rising competitors. Today, Sears stands as a mere shadow of its former self, with fewer than a dozen stores still open. But how did this once unshakable empire unravel? The seeds of Sears' decline was sown in the 1980s when the company ventured far beyond its retail roots. Seeking to diversify, Sears acquired financial services firms Dean Witter Reynolds and Coldwell Banker in 1981. These moves aimed to transform Sears into a multifaceted business empire, blending retail, real estate, and financial services. In 1984, Sears partnered with IBM to launch Prodigy, an early internet service provider. The following year, it introduced the Discover credit card, hoping to capitalize on the growing credit industry. While these ventures were ambitious, they came at a cost. Critics argued that Sears' leadership became distracted, diverting its focus from core retail operations. This loss of direction allowed aggressive competitors like Walmart, Target, and Home Depot to capture market share. By 1990, Walmart had surpassed Sears as the largest retailer in the United States, a symbolic blow that marked a turning point in the retail giant's decline. Realizing its mistake, Sears began divesting its non-retail assets in the 1990s. It spun off its financial services arm, including Dean Witter Reynolds and Discover Card. In 1995, it sold Homart, its mall development subsidiary, to General Growth Properties. The company attempted to refocus on its retail business by acquiring hardware chain Orchard Supply Hardware in 1996 and launching The Great Indoors, a home improvement store, in 1997. However, these efforts came too late to reverse its downward spiral. One of the most symbolic losses came in 1993, when Sears discontinued its legendary general merchandise catalog. Once a lifeline for rural America, the catalog had become too costly to produce and distribute in an era of rising competition and changing consumer habits. Shutting down the catalog business resulted in the dismissal of 50,000 workers, a stark reminder of the company's struggles. By then, sales and profits had plummeted, and in 1992, Sears reported a $3.9 billion loss, the largest in U.S. retail history at the time. Adding to its woes, Sears faced legal troubles that tarnished its reputation. In 1992, the state of California successfully sued the company for unethical automotive repair practices. Sears was found guilty of falsely diagnosing car problems, leading customers to pay for unnecessary repairs. Criminal charges followed in 1997, further damaging the company's image and eroding customer trust. Amid its efforts to streamline operations, Sears also restructured its automotive business. In 1998, it sold its auto parts subsidiary, Western Auto, to Advance Auto Parts, gaining a 40% ownership stake in the combined company. The merger included Western Auto's retail and wholesale operations, along with 40 stores in Puerto Rico. This move was seen as a last-ditch attempt to maintain relevance in the automotive sector, but it failed to produce the turnaround Sears needed. Meanwhile, the company's international operations were shrinking. In 1997, Sears sold 85% of its Mexico affiliate to Grupo Carso, owned by billionaire Carlos Slim. This sale effectively ended Sears' direct control over its stores in Mexico, although the Sears brand continued to thrive under new management in that market. Despite its struggles, Sears made occasional attempts to rekindle its legacy. In 2007, the company reintroduced a smaller version of its beloved holiday wish book, hoping to tap into consumer nostalgia. However, the retail landscape had changed dramatically by then, with online shopping giants like Amazon redefining customer expectations. Sears' efforts to revive its brand were overshadowed by mounting debt, declining store traffic, and outdated retail models. By the early 2000s, Sears was struggling to keep pace in a rapidly evolving retail environment. In 2003, the company took a significant step by selling its U.S. retail credit card operation to Citibank. This move aimed to strengthen Sears' financial position and streamline its operations. 2 years later, Sears Canada's card operations were sold to JP Morgan Chase, further shedding non-core business units as the company sought to refocus on its retail roots. In the same year, Sears unveiled a bold new store format called Sears Grand. These stores, spanning between 175,000 to 225,000 square feet, were designed to be one-stop shopping destinations. They offered a broader range of products than traditional Sears locations, including groceries, electronics, and home goods. The concept was ambitious and intended to compete with big-box retailers like Walmart and Target. However, despite its potential, the Sears Grand experiment faced challenges as the company struggled to balance innovation with its declining financial health.
I'm Curtis Wiggins, and you can count on me.
The final chapters. A pivotal moment in Sears' history came on November 17, 2004, when Kmart Holdings Corporation announced its $11 billion acquisition of Sears, Roebuck & Co. The merger marked a surprising twist in retail history, considering that Kmart had only recently emerged from bankruptcy. The combined entity was rebranded as Sears Holdings Corporation and began trading on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol SHLD. Interestingly, Sears also sold its historic single-letter S ticker on the New York Stock Exchange, which it had held since 1910, to Sprint Corporation. The newly formed Sears Holding Corporation promised to operate both Sears and Kmart stores under their established brand names. In 2005, the company began converting some Kmart locations into Sears Essential stores, blending products from both brands. However, this strategy proved inconsistent, leading to another rebranding of these stores into Sears Grand. Despite the initial excitement surrounding the merger, operational difficulties and stiff competition from Walmart, Target, and Home Depot kept Sears from regaining its former glory. In 2014 and 2015, Sears Holdings took drastic measures to stay afloat. It sold off several key assets, including its iconic Land's End clothing brand and its stake in Sears Canada. At the time, Sears Canada was a major player in the Canadian e-commerce market, generating $505 million Canadian in online sales, more than even Walmart. However, the sale reflected a growing desperation as Sears scrambled to generate cash and reduce debt. The company's leadership, led by CEO and top shareholder Edward Lampert, insisted that these asset sales would fuel a transformation into a tech-driven retailer. The vision was to reinvent Sears as a modern, digital-first enterprise capable of competing with online giants like Amazon. However, many industry analysts were skeptical, viewing the sell-off as a short-term fix for deeper structural issues. By December 2019, Sears' decline continued as 100 more stores closed their doors. The retail giant, once synonymous with American shopping, faced relentless challenges in a fast-evolving retail landscape. By February 2020, another 51 Sears stores were shuttered, marking another grim milestone in the company's downward spiral. The closures persisted through 2020 and 2021, including the last Sears store in Maine, located at the Maine Mall. One of the most symbolic closures happened at Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg, Illinois, where Sears' last store in its home state shut down on November 14, 2021. This closure resonated deeply, as Illinois had been the birthplace of the retail powerhouse that once dominated the American retail scene. In September 2021, the Sears website listed only 35 operational stores, a stark contrast to the thousands it once managed. That same month, Sears announced plans to close additional locations, including its final store in New York City. By November 24, 2021, the New York City was closed. The New York City store was closed, signaling the end of an era in one of the world's most iconic shopping destinations. Redevelopment possibilities for the location were quickly speculated when Sears permanently shut down its remaining 15 Sears Auto Centers across the United States. These service centers had once played a crucial role in Sears' expansive business model, offering automotive repairs and maintenance alongside its retail operations. Their closure marked the end of a key chapter in the brand's service-driven retail strategy. In May 2022, the company announced the closure of approximately 100 more Sears Hometown stores, including the last 4 in Michigan. Sears Hometown, known for offering appliances, tools, and home goods, had long been a staple in smaller communities that lacked access to larger department stores. However, even this scaled-down version of Sears could not withstand the pressure of changing retail trends. By December 13, 2022, Sears Hometown officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, marking the final collapse of this last major branch of the company. Soon after, it was announced that all remaining Sears Hometown stores would be liquidated and closed permanently, cementing the fate of what was once a key segment of the business. The most recent Sears closure occurred on December 15, 2024 in Tequila, Washington, marking another step toward near total extinction. As of September 2024, only 8 Sears stores remained, 7 in the mainland US and 1 in Puerto Rico. These scattered remnants of a once mighty retail empire stand as quiet witnesses to a century-long saga of success, expansion, decline, and ultimately survival in a vastly transformed retail world. With only a handful of stores left standing, the question remains: can the iconic Sears brand ever rise from the ashes of its storied past, or has its chapter in retail history finally closed for good?